So, in the process of cleaning out my old place and moving into the new one, which somebody made a comment in another video. Yes, I've moved out of my apartment. I'm now living in a townhouse with my girlfriend and her children, and my son is with us too. Although my son right now is in Kelowna with his mother, and her two boys just got picked up by their dad to go to Idaho. It's perfect winter weather for Idaho. And her daughter tomorrow night will be picked up by her dad for Christmas. So, and my son comes back on Thursday. So it's actually going to be pretty quiet around here. I also got her to help me lop off the hair today, and it looks a heck of a lot better than it has the last few times I've done it. So, because I've got a spotter now, so that helps. But in the process of cleaning out, I have found a lot of magazines. Magazines which I knew I had somewhere, but where? So, this is an interesting magazine because it's got. Sorry, Shadow's just very upset that I've been outside of the bedroom today. I've been out, doing my own thing. And he's kind of ticked off that I haven't been paying attention to him. But this magazine's about dynasties, as you see. But what's interesting in this magazine isn't the dynasties thing. This was from 2000, March of 2000. So this is before Columbus and Minnesota were technically in the league. Here's something interesting here. Here, doop 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 doop. Here, doop doop doop. You go over here. Go over there. Good kitty. Here we go. So these are, little snippets written back in 2000. Can Mario Lemieux save hockey in Pittsburgh? In 1984, Mario Lemieux saved hockey in Pittsburgh when the Penguins made him the first pick in the 1984 entry draft. Now he's trying to save hockey again, this time with his dollars and cents. And cents, S-E-N-S-E. Just when it appeared the Penguins were dead and buried in Pittsburgh, along came Lemieux last spring to save the day and buy the team. Super Mario was already a hero in Pittsburgh. The latest move made him a super savior. Lemieux's impact was immediately felt. Season ticket sales, which had been nearly stagnant, as the franchise wondered exactly where it would be playing the 1990-2000 season, shot up. On opening night, Lemieux received a standing ovation from the 17,145 fans who packed Civic Arena. The old Civic Arena. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us, but this is a great city and a great hockey town, Lemieux said. So far, Lemieux's done a lot of good things. Although he was a very private person as a player, he stepped out into the community, signing autographs and personally pushing the Penguins. He ordered prices cut on more than 3,500 seats in the Igloo, where children's tickets are now only $10. I'm guessing that's no longer the case. A late start on marketing hindered ticket sales, but attendance during the first quarter of the 1999-2000 season was better than it was during the first quarter of the 98-99 season. There's no way we could have been able to continue without Mario, Penguins general manager Craig Patrick said. Yet this question still remains, how long can this show go on? The Penguins are still not packing them up into the Igloo. Only 12,165 showed up for a game early this season. Jaromir Jagr's salary of $10.3 million this season is more than all Major League Baseball's Pittsburgh Pirates made 2 years ago. It's more than Lemieux ever made in a season. Although the Penguins have a new lease at the Igloo, the building is the oldest in the NHL and woefully inadequate in today's financial climate. And other than the NFL's Pittsburgh Steelers, Pittsburgh has never supported losing teams. If the Penguins don't start winning, they could be back where they started in a hurry. The saga of hockey in Pittsburgh is far from over. The future only appears to be bright. Reality could be much grimmer. So this is before Crosby, of course. This is before Malkin. This is before things turned around. Let's see. Okay, no, Shadow. Not right now, baby. Here. I know. I missed you too. You're going to have to go sit over there right now. There's a cat downstairs trying to get away from my stepdaughter, and I got a cat up here who's dying to hang out with me. Yeah, there we go. One-timers. Alexei Yashin's making a lot of news these days, even if he isn't playing hockey. The Ottawa Senators holdout is dating model Carol Alt, former wife of Ranger Ron Greshner. This has generated more than a little annoyance among Rangers watchers who wonders, couldn't she have dated a Ranger? Well, maybe so, but We heard she likes younger men. Mark Messier, 38, suffered a sprained right knee this season, leaving the Canucks with two of their best players at the same time. Messier and all-star defenseman Matthias Ohlund. The Canucks were optimistic about his chances of making a complete recovery, but at this point you have to wonder how much gas Messier has left in the engine. Messier has been slowly wearing down for the past decade. Between playoffs and the regular season, he's played the equivalent of more than 20 NHL regular seasons. Messier says he hasn't even thought about retiring, but after Gretzky and Lemieux, it looks like he'll be next. Rangers general manager Neil Smith was so mad about free agent Joe Murphy signing with the Bruins after practicing for a week with the Rangers, he reportedly threw Murphy's skates in Long Island Sound and cut his sticks in half. The Rangers practice facility in Rye, New York is located along the shore of Long Island Sound. Supposedly, Neil threw my skate in the river, he's so mad, the 32-year-old forward said. He had me under his nose, and he decided he had other priorities. Obviously, I wasn't a priority. Now they're mad that they don't have me. Obviously, they're mad or they wouldn't be throwing my stuff out. That sounds like something from grade school. Said Smith. The whole thing is ridiculous, but nothing surprises me in the career of Joe Murphy. Martin Lapointe of the Red Wings on allegations that he spit at a TV cameraman in Tampa Bay. I'd punch someone before I'd ever spit on him. The IHL has become a fighters league for goaltenders. In November, 3 fights broke out among goaltenders. In Grand Rapids, Michigan, K-Wings goalie Marty Turco skated to the other end of the ice to take on Grand Rapids goalie Yanni Herme. Turco landed a right to Herme's face. Both goalies were ejected. The week before, former NHLer Mark Fitzpatrick left the crease to fight Orlando Solar Bears goalie Judd Lampert. Fitzpatrick received 49 penalty minutes. And earlier in November, Fitzpatrick fought with Milwaukee goalie Chris Mason. So Fitzpatrick wasn't happy when he was no longer an NHL goaltender. And there's an article in here on Butch Goring. Article in here on the Bure brothers, Pavel and Valari. And then a questioning of whether or not dynasties are dead. And of course, we know now 15 years later, yeah, they're dead. Oh, check out the posters, though. Here's Tim Connolly with the Islanders. Any of you Maple Leafs fans want a Tim Connolly? I'm sure you guys are chomping at the bit for a Tim Connolly. Simon Gagne with Philly. Peter Schaefer with Vancouver. That was his first of 2 go-arounds in Vancouver. And with San Jose, Brad Stewart. Ranking the NHL cities. So, let me just go through the breakdown here. Which city has better fans? Toronto or Detroit? Which city has the best arena? Where is it impossible to get a ticket unless you know someone? Which NHL cities are truly nuts about the sport? You might think your city's number 1, but we might just say otherwise. In Toronto, you either need very good connections or a wallet full of money to get a good ticket to a Maple Leafs game. In Raleigh-Durham, you can walk right up to the press box office at game time and buy the best seats in the house. In Calgary, kids play hockey from the time they're old enough to walk. But if you want to go to a Flames game, you'll have trouble getting in. But in Dallas, where kids grow up dreaming about playing in the National Football League, a ticket to an NHL game has become a hot item. So is Toronto a better hockey town than Calgary? Is Dallas a better hockey town than Calgary? And what makes a great hockey town? Those are some of the questions we tried to answer in ranking the NHL cities. This in-depth profile of the league's 28 cities examines such factors as fan loyalty, fan base, the arena in which each team plays, the team's history in that city, and other mitigating factors such as how much attention the local media pay to the team. We also considered minor pro, college, and junior hockey teams in the area, the size and popularity of youth hockey programs, and whether each team's players are celebrities in their city, or overshadowed by stars in other sports. The overriding question, does the city support its team win or lose? Through thick or thin, does the city eat, sleep, and drink hockey? Our rankings are presented for the sole purpose of stimulating discussion, debate, and maybe a little more. History was critical to our equation. So was the caliber and atmosphere of each hockey arena, since the stage itself is so important. Each city had an important X factor that helped or hurt its cause. But our primary concern was the fans. Are they large in number? Are they loyal? Can they stir up a ruckus? In the best hockey towns, the sport becomes ingrained in the local culture. Hockey's become a focal point of the community. It becomes more than an entertainment option. It becomes an important part of everyday life there. Using that criterion first and foremost, we selected Detroit as the NHL's top hockey town. It truly lives up to its nickname, Hockey Town USA. with plenty of rabid fan support for NHL, college, and minor league hockey. Fans in Toronto might disagree with our selection, but we only have one suggestion for them. Scream louder. So, yeah, so the way they go through this, of course, this is from 2000, so keep that in mind. Number 1, they have the Red Wings. 41 sellouts, average attendance of 19,983. This was when they were still playing out of Joe Louis Arena, which was the 5th oldest at the time, built in 1979. Mitigating circumstance number 1, come playoff time, an octopus will hit the ice, then another and another. This is the coolest tradition in the game. Mitigating circumstance number 2, the CCHA Championship Tournament is held every year at the Joe, and it's one of the toughest tickets in town. So, a lot of reasons why. I'm not just gonna glaze over this a little bit. If you guys want a more in-depth on any team, let me know in the comments. Montreal's rated number 2, sellouts 16. This is again based on 98-99. Their average attendance 20,741. This was after the Molson Center came out, so it's one of the youngest at the time. Mitigating circumstance. The local media raise sensationalism. The French language press works itself into a frenzy over any small development. Stories on the Canadians are filled with exclamation points. Nowhere does a hockey player feel more important or beleaguered than he does in Montreal. If you're Carey Price, you feel both the same day sometimes. Pick up any paper any day during hockey season and you'll see more hockey coverage than any other newspaper in North America. Hockey crazy Montrealers are fed a steady diet of hockey information, much of it complete nonsense. Yeah, it said that. So there's 3 and 4, just to show that I'm not lying to you. Toronto, mitigating circumstance. Toronto is the media center of Canada. Fuck, yeah, we know. Housing, the Hockey News, the Globe and Mail, the National Post, as well as local papers. Every good hockey rumor has to come through here before getting wide play around the league. Toronto's the home of the Hockey Hall of Fame. It's also Don Cherry's favorite hockey city. Flyers, mitigating circumstance. Owner Ed Snyder gets into it. He'll show up at the team's practice facility and let people have it. That beats indifferent, out-of-town ownership. Hello, Bruins owner Jeremy Jacobs. Every time. 5 and 6. So you got Boston and you got the Rangers. You get the feeling that the original 6 teams, based on the fact they've got a long history, get more of a chance here. Wait, who's on the inside of the cover here? Inside cover. Jochen Hecht. Jochen Hecht. Who wants a Jochen Hecht poster? Don't lie, you want one. Mitigating circumstance in Boston. College hockey is monstrous here. With Boston College, Boston University, Northeastern, and Harvard all possessing worthy programs to follow. The annual Beanpot Tournament, now held at Fleet Center, is a New England tradition, one of the most sought-after prizes in college hockey. The American Hockey League is huge in satellite markets like Worcester, Providence, and Hartford, and high school hockey in Boston and the surrounding areas is among the finest in the country. These people not only love hockey, they play hockey, and lots of it. Rangers, mitigating circumstance. The current Rangers are poster boys for all that's wrong with the current NHL. With a payroll of $60 million, which was really high at the time, Rangers general manager Neil Smith mixed a bunch of overpaid, over-the-hill veterans with indifferent Europeans and created a lifeless team. You'll see more passion down at the dry cleaners than at the Garden these days. The New York press overreacts to everything. Outside the Garden on game nights, it's hard to find much hockey being discussed in the city. But give Rangers fans credit. No matter where the Rangers play on the road, they always have hundreds, if not thousands, of fans in the building. 7 and 8. So again, you got Chicago and St. Louis. So this definitely favors teams with longer histories. Mitigating circumstance for Chicago. Messimer took over national anthem singing and his marketing ideas across town to international hockey. Messimer took his anthem singing and his marketing ideas across town to the International Hockey League's Wolves and had some success. There are plenty of Chicago hockey fans to go around. The Wolves are among the IHL's leader in attendance with more than 7,000 per game turning up at Allstate Arena for a team that won the Turner Cup in 1998. St. Louis, mitigating circumstance number 1. The Blues have never won a cup and have reached just one Final Four since those early days. The team nearly folded once and nearly moved 3 times. Stability has not been a strong suit on the ice, behind the bench, or in the front office. Yeah. Mitigating circumstance number 2. St. Louis is a baseball town first, a hockey town second or third. But it is, all in all, a great sports town, and the rivalry with Chicago is one of the hottest in sports, both in baseball and hockey. These are among the most passionate fans in the Midwest. 9 and 10. Oh, I can just hear Oilers fans now. Look at that. You're behind Dallas. What's going on? I would be interested to see these rankings now. If you guys want me to do these rankings now, think about it. I can use the same things that these guys are using, and come up with a ranking that is pretty accurate, I would think. So if you guys want me to do it now, just let me know in the comments. If you want to see Hockey Guy do 30 rankings of franchises, including their fans, that way you guys can get all pissed at me again. I like it when you're pissed at me. Number 9, Dallas. Mitigating circumstance number 1. Owner Tom Hicks is a fan's dream, a really rich and really competitive guy who knows how to get his way. He put Dallas on the fast track to NHL success, and the city is a better hockey town for it. Mitigating circumstance number 2. With a defensive style that would put most traditional hockey fans to sleep, the Stars have not always been the most exciting team. Absolutely true. Even when they were winning, they were very boring to watch. Fortunately for Hicks, Dallas doesn't have traditional hockey fans. As long as the team wins, everything's great. Heck, what do football fans know about a neutral zone trap? A few more cups and Ken Hitchcock will become a Dallas legend on the scale of former Cowboys coach Tom Landry. Yeah, that didn't happen. Oilers, mitigating circumstance number 1. Keeping hockey in Edmonton for the long term might be an impossible task. The smallish market, the high taxes, and the death of the Canadian dollar have conspired with runaway NHL salary inflation to endanger the Oilers' future here. Mitigating circumstance number 2. These fans were spoiled way too much in the 1980s. For a while there, the Oilers never had a bad NHL team. Okay, 11 and 12. The Colorado Avalanche and the Calgary Flames are 12. Again, this is 2000, people. For Colorado, mitigating circumstance number 1, the Avalanche have already changed hands in Denver, and the owners don't own the Pepsi Center. Can the franchise make a go of it while renting? We're skeptical. The rule these days in hockey seems to be the owner of a team has to own his building. At least that's what they're telling us all the time. That the Avs are sharing the Pepsi Center with the Nuggets happens to be of no help at all. Mitigating circumstance number 2, there's a lot of sports to go around in Denver, and the Rockies started playing in front of a lot of empty seats once they started losing and the novelty of Coors Field wore off. Avs are still there 15 years later, so it's all right. 12, Calgary Flames. Mitigating circumstance number 1. Like Edmonton and Ottawa, Calgary stands to lose its NHL team unless the Canadian dollar recovers. The NHL does more revenue sharing, or the Canadian government does more to help their beleaguered sports teams. Calgary, with its multi-tiered ownership, might be the first to go. There was a big push back then for Canada and the government itself to step in and stop Canadian teams from leaving and go to the States. There was a lot of talk in the House of Commons about it at the time. Mitigating circumstance number 2. The Western teams have not had a free ride in converting their hockey fans from Montreal, Toronto fans into supporters of local boys. Go to a Flames Leafs or a Flames Canadiens game in Calgary, and you're still going to see a lot of fans wearing the visiting team's jersey. That still happens. It does. 13 and 14. We have Buffalo and the Kings. Buffalo, mitigating circumstance number 1. Downtown Buffalo is a pretty depressing place, a fact that sucks some of the life out of the hockey experience there. The city's been revitalized, but get too far away from the arena area and you'll probably be walking the streets alone at night. Mitigating circumstance number 2. This is a good hockey area with several college programs nearby and the Rochester Americans of the AHL only 90 minutes away. The Amerks, the Sabres' top farm club, have traditionally been one of the best draws in the minors. There's a lot of hockey fans in Western New York. Mitigating circumstance 3. Sabres TV voice Rick Jeanneret is one of the best and most entertaining announcers in the NHL. Why brave the cold and traffic when you can sit at home and listen to him? Kings, mitigating circumstance number 1. It's tough to get up for a hockey game when it's 75 degrees on a December night and when there are a million other things going on in the area. Mitigating circumstance number 2. They built the new arena in downtown Los Angeles. Who in the world goes into downtown Los Angeles after sundown? Not too many people. 15 and 16. So you got the San Jose Sharks and the Phoenix Coyotes. Phoenix. That's why I still call them Phoenix. San Jose. Mitigating circumstance 1. The Sharks did a nice job of building grassroots interest in Northern California for hockey. The previous attempt at hockey with the Oakland Seals, California Golden Seals, was a complete wash. This time around, hockey's caught on. Mitigating circumstance 2. The Sharks have one of the best websites in all sport. They were among the first teams to heavily market themselves through the web. Mitigating circumstance number 3. Other than football's 49ers and Raiders, pro teams in the Bay Area have had a hard time solidifying a fan base. This is a better college sports area than a pro sports area. Phoenix, mitigating circumstance. The roadkill coyote logo grows on you after a while. See, I said that logo was hated at the time. So do those howling fans. So do those howling fans. But you have to wonder, while they're howling, do they know a thing about hockey? Winnipeg to Phoenix might have seemed like an okay idea to when it happened, considering the financial state of hockey in Canada. But these days, it doesn't seem so wonderful. Phoenix, a four-sport town? We don't think so. And there are a lot more transplanted Northerners in other parts of the country. 17 and 18. So 17's the Ducks, 18 Nashville. With the Ducks, mitigating circumstance 1. Disney's been whining about the cost of professional sports ownership. The mouse people are threatening to get out. That's sad. How good could this team be if Disney spent money on it? Mitigating circumstance number 2. The area from Anaheim up to Los Angeles is surprisingly good for hockey on a grassroots level, but the IHL's Long Beach team has never garnered much support, and Anaheim teams have generally played second fiddle to other teams in LA. It's almost like the Long Island, New York City syndrome on the West Coast. Los Angeles gets the buzz, Anaheim plays second fiddle. Besides, people come here to go to Disneyland, not to watch hockey games. Mitigating circumstance 3. You have a much better chance of seeing celebrities at a Kings game. What the hell does that have to do with it? Okay, the Predators, mitigating circumstance. Hockey usually does well in football country. Football fans love the hard-hitting and non-stop action of hockey. Yeah, that's it. Because this was their second year in the NHL. So that's it. 19 and 20. Look at this. Canucks 19, Pittsburgh 20. Canucks, mitigating circumstance 1. Mike Keenan had total control of the Canucks for a short while there, which explains why the franchise is in some peril. There was talk about moving to Seattle at the time this was written. Mitigating circumstance number 2. The team has been put on and taken off the market by John McCaw, owner of Orca Bay Entertainment. There's a decent possibility that the team will move out of Vancouver and down to Portland, Oregon, which has always supported its Western Hockey League team and has been a strong supporter of the NBA's Trailblazers. Mitigating circumstance number 3. Canucks fans rioted when the team didn't win the Stanley Cup in '94. Considering the team's history, how could they have been so surprised? I'll just wait till Leafs fans stop laughing at that one, and basically hockey fans all across the country and in Boston and wherever. Pittsburgh, mitigating circumstance. Lemieux is desperately trying to save hockey in Pittsburgh, but he took over a team with lots of debt, a bad lease, and a bleak prospects for the future. Lemieux doesn't get enough credit for saving the Pittsburgh Penguins. The franchise could still end up being awarded the league or being moved out of Pittsburgh. How much money can Lemieux and friends sink into this franchise? New lease or not, perhaps a new building or city is the only way. 21 and 22. So Florida and the Senators. Florida, mitigating circumstance 1. Wayne Huizenga got his new arena and still wants to sell his team. What would he rather do? Hang around his waste removal business and inspect dumpsters for laughs? Come on, enjoy life. Get a Scott Mellenby sweater and have a beer. Mitigating circumstance number 2. This is a great and growing area for youth hockey, both inline and on ice. Ice and inline rinks are going up all over the place as tens of thousands of young fans have taken up the sport. That's a direct result of the Panthers' early success. But have there been a lot of hockey players from Florida that have made the NHL? That's a genuine question on my part. And again, this is where fans will come up and mention it in the comments. Ottawa Senators, mitigating circumstance number 1. The Senators are for sale. Will they still be in Ottawa in 2 or 3 seasons? It certainly doesn't appear so. Mitigating circumstance number 2. Ottawa is not only a bilingual Ontario city, but also a city in which the fans' hearts are with 2 teams, the Senators and the nearby Montreal Canadiens. That makes for not only a great rivalry, but some very stubborn fans who will never switch allegiances. That's still true. But there's fans all across Canada who cheer for Montreal and won't switch teams. Mitigating circumstance number 3. Ottawa supports a major junior hockey team very nicely, too. So if the Sens move, all will not be lost. Isn't that nice to know, Ottawa fans? 23 and 24. So the Capitals and the Islanders. Capitals, mitigating circumstance number 1. Owner Ted Leonsis has hundreds of millions of dollars to burn and a childlike enthusiasm for sports. So there's always hope. Circumstance number 2. Washington couldn't keep its baseball team. Its NBA team draws flies. Also at the MCI Center. The only team in Washington with any kind of following is the NFL's Redskins. This is a one-sport town. Washington Nationals have done pretty well, though, since the Expos moved there, so not bad. New York Islanders, mitigating circumstance. Listen to this. It seems like the team's been for sale since 1989. The best Islanders owner in the 1990s was John Spano, a fraud who got busted for fibbing about his assets. It turned out he had enough money to buy a sandwich, not a hockey team. The current owners have a lot to learn, and general manager Mike Milbury has given away virtually anybody who could play. The team is about to be sold, but to whom and when? And will it remain on Long Island? Stay tuned if you can stay awake. 25, Devils. 26, Tampa. Just think about how many teams I'm talking about here being in financial trouble back in 2000. How many teams were in trouble compared to now? Jersey, mitigating circumstance 1. Owner John McMullen is a grumpy old man. General manager Lou Lamoriello is a Harry Sinden wannabe. And Dower coach Robbie Ftorek makes former Rangers coach Ted Dart Sater look like Craig Kilborn. I don't know what that means. The Devils have absolutely nothing to generate goodwill. Maybe they are the devil. I look like Craig Kilborn. Why? That's wow. Okay, mitigating circumstance number 2. It takes about an hour to get out of a parking lot after a sold-out Devils game. Circumstance number 3. Devils management doesn't seem to care when people say bad things about them. Not really anything. 26. The Tampa Bay Lightning. Circumstance number 1. New owner Bill Davidson did a nice work with the Detroit Pistons and Detroit Vipers, so there's hope. His people know sports. Circumstance number 2. Tampa's a football town first, and there might not be enough fans to go around unless the Lightning are one of the top teams in the NHL. There are, however, plenty of transported northerners in the area. Tampa, and they talk about it in here, had to pay for the arena quite a bit with free tickets. 27 and 28. Thrashers and the Hurricanes. Believe me, this is what made me say, man, I got to go through this. Thrashers, mitigating circumstance 1. The novelty factor will buy them a season or 2 before the fans evacuate. True. Circumstance number 2. This might be the best grassroots hockey in the South. Florida included. Inline and ice hockey is hot, very hot, and it's getting bigger. Atlanta has actually become a capital of the youth hockey world. People here don't have to be educated about the game as much because they know it from the past, said Thrashers defenseman Daryl Shannon. No relation. They know when they're putting forth a good effort, and they appreciate things about the game. Not everybody knows it, and we're trying to attract new fans, but this has been a pretty good experience. Circumstance number 3. It's so hot in Atlanta during the summer that the team might want to consider playing its games in July and August, so fans will have a reason to show up and cool off. This is the same magazine that just said, why would fans in LA show up when it's hot? Circumstance number 4. Owner Ted Turner isn't much for losing. The Thrashers will build from the ground up for a while before Turner starts sinking big money into the ship. Ted Turner was a sinking ship in sports, so that, yeah. Carolina Hurricanes, mitigating circumstance. Minor league hockey was big here, so the Hurricanes can always move down a league or 2 if they must. And that was the state of the game 15 years ago. So take that with a grain of salt. Think about where teams are at now. We can usually pick out 2 or 3 teams and say, oh, these teams should be moved. But in reality, hockey's much more solid in terms of its base, in terms of its teams, and we couldn't imagine even stating this team will be moved in the next 5 years. You could say it about a couple, but yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. I just thought it was a very interesting read. That was a skim. Trust me, that's major reading, so I did as much of a skim as I could. This is one of the longer videos. Some people like the longer videos, some people don't. But I figured I'd give it a shot for tonight, and I appreciate all you guys who stuck around. Let me know if you guys want me to do something like this right now with 30 teams and come up with the 30 franchises as I would rate them. I know Forbes does rankings. I know Hockey News still does rankings. It'd be interesting to see what I could come up with. And I could use similar numbers. I've got a long weekend coming up because it's Christmas, and I could probably put something together if you guys are interested to see where franchises stand right now. In my eyes, anyways, and then we can all argue about it, right? Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're coming through. And again, I'm trying to get back into doing some of these older magazines things because I'm finding older magazines as I'm moving. So it's kind of fun to look through before these magazines get buried in amongst the other magazines. Anyways, yeah. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you all again very soon.